God, life is better and more fun without the booze. I definitely have quite a cheerful disposition and I definitely have energy. The reason I stopped drinking was because the hangovers just got too bad. I love waking up full of energy. So I honestly do wake up and I really try and say, today is, you just have today. That 12 years ago I set up the digital voice, but it was 6 years ago that I decided to take that plunge and go from being solo entrepreneur and thinking, no, I just want to run this my way, my company, boom, and it's now 37 people. But interesting enough, 6 years ago, I also decided to become a sober lush and end my 25-year love affair with partying and drinking. I have no regrets. I promise you, life just gets better and brighter without alcohol.
Ambition is not a dirty word. Impact is not synonymous with struggle. In fact, massive impact is absolutely possible with joy, fun, and sublime integrity. I'm Bianca Bess, author and founder of The Burnout Business. And this is the Big Impact Show, where success meets grace. Today on the Big Impact Show, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by none other than Julia Linehan.
Yay! Thank you so much.
To have you here, Julia.
Oh no, I'm more than happy to be here. This is incredible as well. Love it.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Now, you are a woman of impact, unquestionably. You are a stunning entrepreneur with a global business. You've been running for over 12 years. You are a legend in the industry. You are renowned for your effervescently bubbly energy, which just seems to have no limits. You seem to know how to bring communities together. You are utterly inspiring. Now, I'd love you to tell our viewers and our listeners, who is Julia and what's your story?
Oh my God. Well, thank you firstly for that introduction. And yeah, I do pride myself, I think, as who I am is that I think it's a combination of Duracell bunny, mouth of media I've been referred to, and the voice. But I hope that from my side as to who I am, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a mother and a wife and a friend and a founder and a mentor. I think it's my story is that this year is my 30th year in the digital advertising industry. Wow. And I'm so proud of that. I've survived, but more than that, I really feel I thrived. I actually have loved. I can look back on the last 30 years and go, God, that's been good fun. And there's no part of my career or journey that didn't actually help me or make me who I am now. And it's actually been really fun because when I started out, when I was younger, all I wanted to be was a mixture of being an actress, a copywriter, a journalist. I wanted to work in advertising. And the job I do now in running the digital voice as a PR and amplification agency is a combination of all those things. So I'm just really proud of the story that I am where I am now. And I think the biggest step is 12 years ago, I set up the digital voice, but it was 6 years ago that I decided to take that plunge and go from being just really a solo entrepreneur and thinking, no, I just want to run this my way, my company, taken enough for me. And 6 years ago, I decided to go, let's just take the plunge and boom, and it's now 37 people.
Incredible.
But interesting enough, 6 years ago, I also decided to become a sober lush and end my 25-year love affair with partying and drinking. And I have no regrets. And I would say it's more my decision is I'm just happened to no longer choose to be a drinker. I love the brand identity of being a sober lush. And I love being able to show that, oh my God, life just starts. And I do not regret any of the life I had as a drinker. It was great fun, but God, life is better and more fun without the booze.
Fantastic. And I really want to go into that a little bit more. You certainly inspire me with the work that you do in the sober space, as well as running your business and how an impassioned an entrepreneur you are. Tell me, every morning when you wake up, what is it that motivates you to get out of bed and give each day your all?
Okay, I'm going to be really annoying for a lot of people. I've always been a jump out of bed kind of person.
That's fantastic.
It's really, even as a teenager, I have never laid in my life. And the only exception is, again, that's why it bothered me when the reason I stopped drinking was because the hangovers just got too bad. I love waking up full of energy. So I honestly do wake up and I really try and say, the today is, you just have today. That's all you can control is today. We have to learn from the past, but we can't control the futures. But the one thing that you can kind of control is what happens today. And I try and make sure every day is enjoyable. Sometimes my day, I can look at my diary and go, oh my God, I've got 11 video calls in a day. Deep breaths, in we go, and try and find the good in every day. I definitely have quite a cheerful disposition, and I definitely have energy. And what helps is I tend to do a 12-minute HIIT session as many mornings as possible, because it's just that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
And I probably am a little bit addicted to dopamine hits. It's probably why I thoroughly enjoyed things like boozing, because it's that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
So I just find better ways of doing it now.
Did you do your HIIT this morning?
I did not, because it was an early start. I did walk for 25 minutes. So from Charing Cross, and I always think any opportunity to do that kind of fast-paced walking, just get that energy up again.
Perfect.
I won't lie though, I am terrible in the evenings. I sort of eke it out till about 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I just want to go to bed.
Wow,
so I'm early to bed, early to rise.
Perfect. That's how you restore.
Yeah.
So decisions determine destiny,
Yes.
and clearly you've made two very big, impactful decisions in your life. Firstly, to leave the corporate successful career that you were rapidly ascending the career ladder in the corporate realm, to then set up your own business, but also the decision to stop drinking. Can you tell me where you were at in your life at the point where you made that first decision to enter the realm of entrepreneurialism?
So it was sort of forced in a way upon me, because when I was head of digital for the Mirror newspapers, I was in my early 30s, and I didn't think at the time that I was going to have children. And then I did. And I ended up being pregnant. And then I went on 6 months maternity leave and came back 3 months pregnant. So at that point, I had they were only a year apart. So I had 2 children.
Intense.
And I remember speaking to the Mirror newspapers team and saying the job of head of digital was a big, significant one. It couldn't be done full time. And I made the decision from the point of having my children, I would only work 3.5 days a week, and I would be a mum 3.5 days a week. And it was a commitment I kind of just made personal one for me. So I discussed it with him, went, it can't be done. So I brought on the amazing Paul Hood to take over my role and happily stepped aside. And I managed to convince companies for about 5 years that there's about 2 or 3 companies that I would say, look, you can have me, all my decades of experience. I bring all that in 3.5 days a week. It's obviously a less cost for you, but I will give it my all on. It's a big team, because that didn't work. Being a managing director, it didn't work on that limited time, just for me.
Yeah.
And I was working with a company called Gem Media as the director of comms. And in fact, he gave me the job title, The Voice, Matt Whaley. And I said to him, look, I've been asked by 2 other companies to be the voice for them.
I love it.
And it worked. And I said, do you mind that I then set up on my own? You're still a client. And so I always stand by the fact of the power of 3. I've probably bored people by talking about this, but if you are setting up on your own, you do need 3 companies or people that believe in what you're selling. And the reason is, if you only have 2 and you lose 1, you're exposed. If you only have 1, you haven't proved the model. Mm-hmm. The power of 3 cannot be wrong. So I launched and went live with 3 clients. And I then, for I think the first 5 years, I loved it, because my children were then 5 and 6. And it often is the toughest time, because of the pressures. Oh my God, December, you might as well write off for the amount of things you've got to do as a parent. So I was able to control the number of days I took on for each client. So that was really, it worked for me as a parent. And I did put the children first, but while still growing a business. And it got to the point that I think ended up with so many clients, and it was just me. And it came to I'd already stopped drinking at that point. So I had loads of energy, and I thought I was invincible. And I then thought, I'm going to burn out. So that's when I expanded the team and brought in some incredible people, and it's grown every year. But we're now, I think we're where we need to be, with 37 incredible people globally. And I've got the perfect team. I'll credit to them, the Digital Voice. They are amazing. And luckily we keep our clients long term. So we have the pleasure of having this consistency of team, consistency of client partners. It's lovely.
Fantastic.
It's perfect.
That was all very brave. They're really sort of courageous choices, very intentional as well. Did you at any point feel that you were compromising yourself in any which way, when you were leaping into, okay, I'm going to prioritize my children for a certain proportion of the week, career, was there ever any internal challenge around, am I compromising myself in any which way?
There was a film called How Does She Do It with Sarah Jessica Parker, and a friend of mine said to me, I always think of you when I watch that film. You look like, I don't know how you do it. And it made me stop and think, and I thought, I'm not doing it. If I was being honest with myself, I was burning out, because imagine, for some of my client partners at the time were, say, US clients, and if you couldn't say that at 5 p.m, I've got a kitchen full of little girls having a thing, but I would say it to them, I'd be honest and say, look, I have been on since 7 a.m, but you choose to have this call at 5. I've got lots of kids in the background, and I didn't know the power of no. And being brave enough to say that wouldn't impact my relationship and it wouldn't make me feel like I wasn't doing a good service to them. Now I understand you can say no, and we set our hours based on the lives that we want to have and put flexible working right at the heart of it. But because the teams start early, because we do APAC and Europe, that means we start early, but the team generally finishes around 4. My kids may be 17 and 18, going on 18 and 19, but my daughter still walks in the door at 4:05. And I like to be off my computer and welcome her in. And I think now I've got that balance, and I missed that a few times. I missed a trick a few times, trying to do it all. And then if you layer in the drinking and hangovers, what ends up happening is you put incredible pressure on a shorter amount of time that you're high functioning. So I also think that didn't probably serve me well.
So that decision then, so you've made the decision to be an entrepreneur, to prioritise family and create your own version of how to do work. And everything is expanding and soaring, and you're having more impact than you actually anticipated, quicker and further. What happened to make you decide that giving up alcohol would be that cherry on the cake in terms of your ability to have greater impact?
I love that question because it's really powerful, because I think, what I realised, the impact of hangovers was starting to have an impact on the success and where I could actually take my company. And also it was impacting, so I was holding myself back on how I was, on where I could take my company. And it was having a negative impact on really me being the best I could be for my family. And I think those two factors came into play. And I thought I'd seen also there's people who went before me on saying, you know what, I've had a whale of a time boozing, but now I've decided to have a brilliant time not drinking. And they weren't seeing it as a negative. I was seeing them have this incredible energy. And the one thing I love is energy. Yeah. It's the number one rule when anyone joins the digital voice. Above all else, I would say high energy, early bird, no stress, no drama. Other than that, I can teach you the rest, or you can learn the rest. But high energy. And the one thing that was draining my energy was really the hangovers, because I was then 45 at the time. Yeah. And I just was like, okay, it's time.
And what were your hangovers? I mean, how frequent were they? Let's give a little bit of context.
Certainly, I loved, you get to Thursday and you're like, it's Thursday. Always Thursday was a great day for drinking wine. And I think Friday lunchtimes, I loved having a glass of wine with my girlfriends on Friday lunchtimes, or meeting up with people in the industry. Yeah. Big events happened on. So normally it'd be Fridays would be a write-off. So I'd be like, oh, well, I don't work on a Friday. And then I was thinking, but that's a whole day billable that you're completely wasting. Yeah. And you're not even making use of it and doing other things like going to the gym. You're really dying on that. And then the weekends and being, I can still function. And I have to say, my children would never have been let down by me. I would get up in the morning. I'd make sure I was bright and breezy, but it hurt. It hurt inside. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because that is that societal assumption that it's okay to feel like that and to then push on through. So what was that process like for you quitting? And how did you do it? Did you announce it?
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
I decided I'd never do anything by halves. This is probably why I'm called Mouth Media. I felt like I needed to. I was like, do you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to be loud and proud, sober lush, because I kind of think I really enjoyed the process of going, oh, my God, I'm never going to get drunk again. I'm never going to be anything other than sober. I get firm belief. And I said it. And I didn't just say it to a few people. I said it to everyone. I said it on social. I owned it March the 4th, 2000.
Wow. And was that when you were
2000
hungover?
No, I'd gone in, I'd planned it for Sunday. So there's a big help in this, is that I've always believed in hypnotherapy and psychotherapy to just change your mindset. Because don't forget, you've had a lifetime of having these good day, have a glass of wine. Bad day, have a glass of wine. Stressed, have a glass of wine. Out with friends, celebrate, have a glass of wine. It is your mindset is completely set. So the Alan Carr easy way, not the comedian, Alan Carr easy way to stop drinking. I'd used that for smoking years before and stopped smoking. And they do these sessions in which they actually go under the hood a little bit and do a hypnotherapy and psychotherapy. And they bank on the fact, they'll say, and you'll walk out never wanting to drink again. And I, hand on heart, walked out never wanting to drink again. Incredible. And I'll have I don't mind having a sip of champagne at a wedding. I can take it or leave it. I choose to leave it. It's the word sober for me. It's that I don't want to be out of control. I don't want to ever feel the impact of alcohol again. A sip of it is fine. That's me. For a lot of people, it's not fine. And everyone has to understand their own ways. It's not something I miss. It's not something I yearn after. There are so many amazing alcohol-free replacements.
Absolutely.
And I love them. And I drink them. I wait till, I've got a weird thing. I won't have an alcohol-free beer on a Monday or Tuesday. I'm like, no, I can't have an alcohol-free beer on Monday. So I've still got that set in me. But Thursday, I can have a beer. But it's always without alcohol. But it feels the same. It has the same impact.
It's wonderful that you are inspired by sobriety. So you don't see it as lack. You celebrate the positives that come with it. And you've done a lot for our industry to really try and effuse the media industry, which is notorious for alcohol abuse, to really try and create and foster a culture of it's okay not to drink. Tell me a bit about the group that you run, the Spill group.
I think, obviously I have the pleasure of being one of the co-founders of Digital Leading Ladies, and I've seen the power that community has had for women.
Do you want to describe a little bit about what Digital Leading Ladies?
So the idea was 6 years ago, there was 8 of us that really were looking at, if you're a founder or a board member or director or a leading lady, it's very hard sometimes to ask advice or ask questions or help to the board, to the team. How do you go sideways? How do you surround yourself by people that are going through the same? And it was designed to be a community, a WhatsApp community with meetups and events that is about cheerleading, supporting, having your back, asking any question, no questions too stupid. And I'm a big fan of community groups, and I love there's ad tech community groups that John Walsh has set up, and I'm a supporter of that as well, because I love seeing it's not make it then about, because we have subgroups that are about say DLL health, DLL kids, DLL menopause, DLL jobs. So thinking about, and within the ad tech groups, it's also about what you're interested in. So whether you're a man or a woman, it's finding a community that wants to talk about the things that interest you or be there as a support network. Biggest recommendation is lean into those. The more you lean in, the more impact it will have on you. So that led to Spill, and Michael Smith and I and Liz Shanks really set it up with the idea of Spill is sober party industry lads and ladies. So it kind of linked in. That's what it stands for, sober party. And it was about, look, whether you are a mindful drinker, whether you're sober curious, whether you're alcoholic, whether you're AA, whether you're just dipping your toe in, or whether you're like me and enjoy being a sober lush, let's have a community WhatsApp group and meetups that are for that. And it's grown and grown. And I love the fact that everyone's in their different stage. And what I wanted to show was that I promise you, life just gets better and brighter without alcohol. And whether you choose to eliminate it fully or just cut it, have a more respectful approach to it. When it stops serving you well, or when you decide, look, can you do it? Don't think of a night out without alcohol as a negative. It's really fun. There is a switch point, Bianca, about 11 o'clock that you go, okay, I'm out. But I love seeing other people drinking. I have no problem with that. It's my choice. And what I've loved is that by showing that it's a really positive, and look at the impact it's had on my skin, my health, my relationships, my company, the impact on my friendships, my family, my kids, everything's had a positive impact. And people honestly have come up and said, you've been an inspiration. And if only 1, 2, it happens to not be, it happens to be in the tens, even the hundreds of people have over the 6 years have gone, I've seen what you're doing and I've seen what you've done and I see how you celebrate it. And I've been brave enough to go, do you know what, let me give it a go. And even if you only do it for a year, one of the girls, Faith on my team, she's only 21, now 22. She just said, I'm going to do a year no drinking. You've been an inspiration. There we go.
Well, I can certainly vouch, having been to some of your events, you certainly make it fun and absolutely possible to celebrate and have a great time and not drink. So I really applaud you and thank you for that.
And thank you for being part of it as well.
It's so important. It's so important. So you have impact in so many different echelons, and we've talked about energy there as being so key to you. You've identified that the key to having impact, whether it's your staff having impact in their lives, but equally within yourself, the key to having impact is energy management. So we've talked about your relationship with alcohol and eliminating that. What else do you do beyond the HIIT class in the morning? What else do you do to maintain this beautiful effervescent energy that you have?
I do. So there's two things I've sort of, when I took up golf a couple of years ago, and we live overlooking a golf club. We're very lucky to be able to do that. And loads of people come and say, do you play golf? No. But there was, and when my kids got older, I realised actually I was going to commit more time. My husband and I have learnt it. And also I do think there's a lot of golfing events in the industry that I've never been brave enough, obviously, to
And now you're there.
Yeah, and I think you can't say as women, there's not enough women at these golfing events, because I'm part of industry golfing chats, and there are very few of us. And a lot of times I don't say yes to going.
Yeah.
So I don't think people can have a negative saying when there's a lot of blokes at those events. Good on them. Women are given the choice to do that, and I try and attend as many as I can. But that's a long-term goal that I'll maybe come on to. I've got a plan for how I use golf. At the moment, I'm just enjoying it. And because we have a 4.5-day working week, that Friday afternoons is clear. It is enables the team. They work incredibly hard. We're there for our client partners from early on Monday, and we work, especially on the Monday to Thursdays, are very big press and event days. So everybody has Friday afternoons off, and that's where I can spend time on the golf course or walking and doing things like that. So those are things I think that have had a big impact on me in my life. And what I would say the second part is I felt I burnt out a bit last year. We had our biggest year financially in numbers of clients, in growth of team for the digital voice. And when I finished the year, thank you.
Congratulations, despite the counter
Yeah,
side.
but I look back on the year when I closed at Christmas, and we give everyone 2 weeks off at Christmas, make sure everyone rest and recharge. And I look back and thought, I don't think I enjoyed that. It's the first year I thought I didn't enjoy that. I am burnt out. I was starting at 4:30 to 5 a.m. every day thinking, if I just pack more hours in the day, I'll get everything done. And I don't think that's healthy. So, and I felt like I let friendships go a little bit, and time spent on friendships, family, walking, things for myself, even coming into industry events, even saying yes to joining you here. Yeah. I turned down a lot of those last year. So this year I reset over Christmas, and I did a lot of time thinking, right, what brings me joy? Yeah. And I always think we should be driven by what brings us joy. So this year is about that, saying yes to the things that bring me joy like this. Yeah. But equally, I'm really closely watching my own burnout. I try not to start till 7 a.m. now in the morning, which again, I think is a really important boundary for me. Our business coach at the Digital Voice, Nikki Coe, is brilliant, and she's always like, boundaries, Julia, just remember your boundaries. Trying not to overpack the days, trying to relax a little bit, be that Mel Robbins, let them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen to that, love it. Let them. If people react, it's because they're having a bad day. Yeah. Let me control only what I can control, how I respond to that. Yeah, so I think that's important for this year.
That's wonderful. And that really shows a blend of managing energy, managing time so you're flowing with it, more in tune with what you value most. Maintaining that lovely positive mindset that you clearly have, but being intentional as well. Yeah. Very, very focused. And clearly it's working. You look radiant. You look vibrant. How is your year beginning? Are you feeling far away from burnout?
No, I'm watching it though, because we're under no illusions. The industry's not out the woods yet. Yeah. It is tough. And I think it's mindful of that. And I think Nikki said to me, remember life beyond the spreadsheets. So even if the spreadsheets aren't quite as where you'd want them to be, hey, it's only start of the year, so that's one thing. And there's a lot of positives that have happened already for us this year. So we're in a very good place. But I've started to see it creeping a little bit with diary management. My calls, my diary looking insane. So I'll take a breath and slow down a bit. I always think as well, I try and reset every evening. And I think sleep is a wonderful thing as well, that you can always just go to bed, restart
and
the
do
next
you sleep
day.
well?
I do now as well. Yeah, I do use a lot of things. I have a sleep band.
If it works.
I have a whole routine because I've realised I really let my sleep go last year. I was sustaining on 6 hours sleep a night, and it's not. Now I'm trying to get 7.5.
Okay.
And I think I've seen the benefits of that. So far this year, and I'm very blessed that I think as a team as well, if we have any trying days, and generally we don't because we have the pleasure of only working with clients we love, but even so, we can have challenging days. But as a team, we have a bit of a laugh. We learn to laugh about it. We'll bounce off each other. We support, and we are 100% remote. So it's
tell me about this,
it's
because there is such
people saying it's not. You can't have.
There's a sway, there's a trend, isn't there, across
yeah.
the media industry, big tech, where there's this demand for workers to come back into the office and be tethered to desks again.
Yes.
Now, you are vehemently against this clearly running a successful company.
Yeah, I'll probably caveat that with saying maybe there is a scale of company in which it does perform better, but certainly then, okay, go to hybrid.
Yeah.
But the forcing people back into their desks on the illusion that, it means you get water cooler moments and, it makes more creativity. We have a team that comprises of creative team, marketing, multimedia, events, press, content, social. These are all teams that are creative by their very essence. What we do is strategic and creative. It is nonsense that you can't do that. And I'd also say, we run a global company. So there's no way I could have an office. Where would it be? I don't live in London. I live in Kent. And also, I would look at that tiny little circle that I would be getting my talent pool from. Whereas now I can go, everyone can choose where they live. We have people that have chosen to move abroad and still be able to sustain the hours. We have core hours, but people will be able to flex slightly between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. They can flex.
Yeah.
Most do 8 till 4, but that works within time zones, and it just works. And all of us have multiple screens. We're big fans of Slack and Slack huddles, always video on, hangouts with our client partners, with our teams, brainstorms. Friday mornings, we have Boost Your Power Hour. We always meet every morning for team triage so that people come in. You can talk about any of the emails that have come in or Slacks. We manage those, triage them, off they go. There's big team focus. And there are in-person opportunities. And we go big at MadFest. We're flying people in from different countries. Cannes, we're at Mexico, we have a big events team, so we're always at major events, and it works. And there's absolute nonsense to say it can't work, and not just work. Oh my God, thrive.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of the rationale for bringing people into the office is that it will energize you. But actually, what you're evidencing is that you maintain a highly energetic company and a happy workforce whilst doing so remotely.
100%. It can be up to 4 hours commuting a day if you come in if you've moved out.
I know.
We know it. You and I both know it. We've experienced it. How can you possibly say that that's going to make you more energized than having this life? And we encourage things like we make sure the team is, we have a TDV, the Digital Voice Fit channel, and we challenge each other on different fitness challenges, and we do that for charity as well. Like we did September for cancer research for the step counts, and then we'll send in videos of each other walking and do stuff like that. We do a lot of community things, like when it's Pancake Day, we'll have flip-offs and all be on video for those. And I think as well, you have got energy when you're able to, as long as we do try and encourage everyone to have a really good work at home setup. So it's not just kitchen table, it's create that space. Yeah. Love your space. I mean, I'm a 3-screen, 4-screen player, but it's like control tower. Absolutely love it. The thought of going into an office where I'm hot desking, if I can find a desk, put my laptop there, then go into a meeting room in which some of you are in the meeting room, but some are on the screen on Teams. Yeah. How the fudge does that work? It blows my mind that we're still fighting, that we're still trying to make those claims, and you can still be social. You can create incredible bonds, and none of my team that we've built up, no one's left. And the team varies from 22 years of age to 62. So it's not the fact that and I always ask those in their 20s, is there anything you miss about remote working, about not working in an office? No, because they finish at 4, they can go into London and meet their friends who are finishing their long day in their cubicle. It works. It really works.
Congratulate you on that. It is so wonderful to hear how you've created that, and no churn. Julia,
no churn.
Amazing.
Yeah, so everybody, there's nobody has left of their own accord from that team, and I will protect, and I really look after the team because they give me so much of themselves. They give me their energy and their focus and their skills and their talent. It's my pleasure to then just support them and watch them grow.
It comes across. It's a beautiful energy, and clearly you're running the company really, really with such impact. So these decisions that you've made in your life, these pivotal decisions to be an entrepreneur, to give up alcohol, have got you to this place where your work is expanding beyond your wildest dreams by the sounds of things, to the point where you're almost having to control it to ensure that you're honouring your own integrity of how you balance and don't burn out. The fact that you are nurturing this team with such power, it's really a phenomenal story. I hope you pat yourself on the back sometimes.
It's a Mel Robbins thing. It sounds like I'm addicted to Mel Robbins. It's kind of high five, high five habit. And you're meant to high five yourself in the morning. And sometimes I make the team cringe by going, everyone. But there is some days you do have to, because there can be difficult days. I mean, I don't want this to feel like it's all roses.
Yeah.
It is not easy. But one thing you can control is your reaction to how you respond to challenging situations. That's all you can control, is your reaction to difficult situations, to good situations. So I just try and control my reaction, and also go without trying to be too cringy. It's an incredible life, and I feel very, very blessed. And I do have an amazing family around me and friends. So therefore, that is the mainstay. That's your baseline.
Feel safe, secure.
Yeah, safe and secure. I think it's that. And then obviously having the company, and I think from a dreams perspective where I want it to go, it may make me sound like I'm not an entrepreneur by saying I almost want this to be, for this year, just consistent, just enjoyable, taking that breath, having a bit of time to be more strategic, have more fun with it. And I think that resonates then with client partners that feel our energy. If we start burning out, you're chasing your tail. So I'm going to say a dream for the short term is,
I love that, Julia. And that really chimes with, as you know, my focus around moving away from frenetic productivity, which we actually all fell into after the pandemic. I think there was this sort of necessity to prove ourselves, prove our company's values. And we fell into this world of freneticism. But actually, it's about that graceful productivity. And you are epitomising that with your focus for this year. So tell me, Julia, what is your definition of success?
It's a really hard one. I mean, I define success by something I can be incredibly proud of, that I can almost wear with that badge of honour. If this is something I wake up and look at, whether that's success in something you've cooked. God knows why I use that one, because I'm a terrible cook. I do not succeed in cooking. But whatever it is you create or do, the success is in that moment. Did that bring you joy and a sense of pride? So it can come in the smallest things. I mean, I'm obviously I am a mum of 2 amazing adults now, and I see my success as house of them being happy, them being fulfilled. That is a big part. And then for myself, I just love it when I've had a day where I think, oh my God, I love what I do. I would advise anybody, don't chase the money at the detriment of loving what you do. And if it becomes that success is defined by, it's very easy. As I said, last year I had the biggest financial year and I didn't enjoy it. So I'm learning from that. And this year, hopefully it will be successful in those terms, but that's not the goal. the goal is just to go, God, that was a good fun day. That was great fun. And actually I found it already. The more space I've given myself the managing my own stress, I'm coming up with the most insane and strategic and brilliantly stupid ideas for our client partners and for our team. And I think that is success.
Fantastic.
I truly believe. I think that's right. I think I've said how I define it.
Yeah, and there's real depth to that, because you're veering away from what perhaps might be a traditional definition of success that's all based on extrinsic factors like financial wealth, and actually you're a lot deeper. You're really talking about inner wealth and a realm of inner peace.
I know, because weirdly, the finances then will come because we've seen it. The more then we come up with these, and the happier the client partners are, the more they're like, oh God, yeah, we love that idea, go for it. The more we're likely to be more relaxed when we're going in for pitches with client wins, because we're being honest and we're showing our energy and it's real. So I think I might end up, and I'd love to tell you at the end of this year, going, actually, it was good in financial terms, great, but I did it in a way that made me smile and brought me joy, as opposed to last year where I just felt consumed by stress and did all the wrong things. This is where I should have read your book before going into last year. It was the wrong way of doing it.
So I've got a couple more questions before we end, but just because you've talked about so recently suffering from the burnout last year, which crept up on you, and you're making all these strategic intentions to ensure that this year glides along with your personal version of success. What are the warning signs for you that would make you go, hold on a minute, I need more golf, or whatever it might be?
The biggest one for me is I was waking up at 3-4 in the morning buzzing.
Okay.
So, and I thought that was a good thing. I was like, I just want to get up. The day's begun. Brilliant. And isn't this amazing that I must love my life so much that I'm physically, like, it was like I was on speed kind of thing, to be honest. It was like that insane. And I'd be like, right, I might as well just get up, because then I can get 3 hours working before the team arrives. So I would start and I'd think, brilliant, I'd get ahead. And I would send the emails and Slacks, because I didn't want people to know that I was actually starting that early in the day.
But there was almost a bit of shame.
A little bit of shame, because it is a bit weird that you're doing that. And then, of course, the team would start then at 7, 8. And then the client calls would start from 9 until 2. I was broken by the afternoon, and I had to keep going. And often then you're dealing with a lot of stuff in the afternoon, but I was really struggling, but not realising it. And then finishing at 4:30, 5, going, oh, sugar, I've just done another 12-dayer. Then having my family life, being broken, but equally knowing I was going in for another rocky road on the sleep. So I'd say the biggest indication to me was lack of sleep. So now if I wake up at that time, I try and do all my anything, whether it be Spotify, was it 528 hertz sleep, deep sleep, whatever it is to reset. And if I've had a stressful day, you go to your toolkit and it's baths, or it's exercise, or it's good food.
Go within,
try and look at your toolkit for what it is. The warning signs were there, and I think somebody said, who I really my trust in the industry, she also runs a PR agency, Victoria Usher at Ginger May. We were talking the other day. She went, I think I noticed it. You did look like you were a bit burnt out in December, and I said, I know. I wish I'd stopped and seen. I wish somebody had said, I think you're overdoing it and going too far. So it showed. And then this year it's gone again.
Wonderful.
And I'm not going to let that happen again. But I'd probably say that your eating habits are impacted, your mood, your energy. It is all the things that we know, but the sleep one was the biggest one.
Yeah, so that's your alert, that's your signal. Thank you so much. So tell me, as we finish, what is your big dream, Julia?
I alluded to it earlier. This is insane. So, I picked up golf.
Yes.
So I'm planning to retire by 60.
Love that.
I might start slowing down at 58. I'd like to be ladies club captain. Mainly because I don't think you can stop from being this highly energetic person doing loads of stuff to just stopping. So I'm going to need to have something to organise. So I would like to laugh and go, ladies club captain. I've got to get better at golf. That's definitely one dream. I have probably other smaller ones, but I tend not to. I really try and think about living in the moment, or living as close to the here and now. But that's one.
Perfect.
But I'd love to just take I'd love the digital voice to be something that is, I know how proud the team are of it. I know how proud client partners are to be part of it. So I've kind of got that dream. And I do feel like if I can just make sure I sustain it, I think encourage it and shape it, that'll do. That'll make me happy.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Thank
much
you so much
for bringing your energy,
You're
your
welcome.
story. It's been absolutely wonderful having this
Pleasure.
conversation. Thank you for
Thank
your big
you.
impact on the world. So my main takeaways from that inspiring episode was A, that we don't need to be chained to desks to have business impact, but actually remote working really can work. And Julia's evidenced that year on year. And now with her staff of 37, zero churn, she's really proving teams can be very closely bonded even though they're not in the same office. The second thing is the point around sobriety and the fact that actually life gets better and you have loads more energy when you don't drink. Now, this has really chimed with me because over the years I've had my own experience dabbling with sobriety on and off until I definitively decided alcohol was not part of my journey. And I wrote quite a long blog detailing why. And you can find that on my website. I also talk about alcohol in my book, in my energy strategy, because it is a depressant. And actually, although you might have a temporary rise in exuberant energy, it's not real energy. And actually, it's stealing from your gorgeous beauty. So read more about that in my book, on my website, and see what you feel about alcohol as you start to lift up the hood on your own relationship with it. It's really fascinating. So thank you to Julia for inspiring us with her unique success with grace. And please join me for the next episode where we will have another ambitious soul who is ensuring that they step into their integrity and show us how they achieved their success with grace on the Big Impact Show.